Underwater swimming was an event at the 1900 Olympic Games in Paris. Competitors had to swim underwater for as long and as far as possible. Peter Lichberg swam for the longest time and the furthest distance, but only came third. How? One more time. Underwater swimming was an event at the 1900 Olympic Games in Paris. Competitors had to swim underwater for as long and as far as possible. Peter Lichberg swam for the longest time and the furthest distance, but only came third. How?
So my thought is that what if it wasn't a closed pool, and if he was underwater, he couldn't see if he was finished with the race distance or not, so for placement-wise, he was third, but overall, for how long he swam and for how far he swam, he was, the longest and that kind of thing.
So you're saying, like, two other people hit the finish line, then he hit the finish line and kept going?
Right, because he didn't realize that he was already finished or something like that.
I was thinking the opposite, that it was like a closed pool, and, they just reached the end, but that would be joint first, not joint third.
It does, in the question, it is specific. It was swimming underwater for as long and as far as possible. And this person, Peter, did go for the longest time and the furthest distance, but did come third.
So it's not a joint first thing?
No joint first. There was a first place, there was a second place, and there was a Peter.
How specific are these rules from these quirky 1900 games? I don't recall you saying specifically in one breath. So was their time and their distance averaged out by the number of breaths they took throughout their run? Swim.
You were right to be thinking about the specifics of the rules, but one breath across everybody was the same. It wasn't about taking multiple breaths.
That's such a weird event. That wouldn't be allowed now because it's well, actually it would. It's free diving under a different name, isn't it? It's a breath hold challenge or something like that. But I feel like an event where if you don't complete it, you risk dying probably isn't the spirit of the modern Olympics.
It's the 1900 Olympics, Tom. It was the Wild West back then. They were doing whatever they wanted.
This is interesting. What weird rules can we come up with?
I was thinking, what if it wasn't the only event? Like, you have a heptathlon or pentathlon. So what if in that race that was, longest, farthest, therefore first in that event, but only third in the, Olympic event as such?
I think, Bill, you might have been talking about this when you said this was becoming your shtick. I feel like you had a question like that at some point before.
My last Olympics question, I think, was about paintings done during a 1904 painting event.
Yes.
I would say that's a classic Olympics gotcha, is the heptathlons and the septathlons and the decathlon. In this case, one event, they just go for as long and as far as possible.
Wait a minute, 1900s. This could have been in a river, not in a pool. Sure. Maybe there was a current or something like that changed. But again, it's not like it had changed that much. It's not like that suddenly the floodgates opened and he's definitely swum further because he's been pushed 2 miles downstream.
Just this one swimmer.
Just this one swimmer.
You're right. 1900. Is that... I'm iffy on my early years. Was that a Paris one?
It was Paris.
Is that relevant?
No.
Okay.
We had to try.
You're thinking a lot about the Olympics, which makes sense because this is a question about the Olympics and it's about sport. Weirdly, my question might be to think more about maths classes in year 9. I think I'm trying to remember when you sort of learned this sort of fact, but there's a mathematical fact that you would have learned in school that's relevant.
I was going to ask something faintly about this, which is something question mark, horizontal distance, vertical distance. Was someone doing lots of diagonals and lots of Pythagoras and 1900 Paris couldn't take it?
There's close. It's not about it is about sort of types of distance that you might think about.
So if we think three-dimensionally, is there a depth included in this? Is there... were they doing laps round the pool and one of them cut the corners?
Something parabolic.
Something Pythagorean.
You're getting close to the idea. You're getting close to the idea. He swam the longest, and he swam over a longer distance. He swam the furthest of anybody, but he came third.
He had the worst displacement despite having the best distance.
He had the worst displacement.
What?
Do you want to can you describe for people at home who don't know what displacement and distance is, Danny? Would you like to describe what this is?
Okay, so the difference between distance and displacement is distance is just overall amount that has been traveled, but displacement is the distance from a starting point, meaning that if you go a really long way and come back to your starting point, your displacement is 0.
So was it like current or ocean tides or something like that moved?
Was it an accident, or did he just not know that this was a problem?
Or did the competitors just not know how to go in a straight line?
Now, I cannot guarantee, we have limited sourcing, but that seems to be the case. While his two competitors swam for, he swam for 90 seconds. His two competitors swam
That's not bad.
For like 20 seconds less, right? They swam 60, 70 seconds. But they swam in one straight line forward, while Peter, presumably not fully understanding the rules in the Wild West of the 1900 Olympics, swam in circles. And he went circles and circles and circles. So even though he swam much further than the 60 meters that his competitors swam, he was only credited with swimming 28.5 meters based on where he ended up compared to where he started.
Man, that's
Peter.
upsetting.
Yeah.
Now, my real question following this is, were there only 3 people in this race, or were there some people who did even smaller circles?
There were other people. Peter swam so well, he still got third. The time underwater and the distance was scored separately.
Okay.
So he made up a lot of points on the time underwater, even though he lost a lot for swimming in circles.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker. Poor Peter.
I guess work smarter, not harder, in a way.
Go forward.